Okay, so here are the rails, and here is our show.
Completely off. Completely gone today. What in the world? Derailed.
Yay, you're here. Welcome to the CK and GK podcast. Let's get going.
Ooh, Tuesday.
Wasn't ready. Didn't know what was gonna happen. Never. I always am like, okay, I think I'm ready. And then she's like, okay, and then she'll start it, and then I never.
No,
So, like,
no, you
not
can't be
actually ready. Yay! We're so glad you're here. Today we're talking about the Purge, aka Johnny cleaned out her garage.
I did. Okay, so this is the first in a series. They will not be consecutive episodes, but
No.
we're doing a lot of work at our house, and so this will be the first breakdown of that work.
Into it.
And because this is about cleaning out the garage, we will call Caitlin the Swiffer. She swept us right off her feet.
Oh, well, you gracefully golden-haired hottie. You look all tan, like you've been out in the sun. Is it summer for you now, Miss Jenny?
Yes, I am off. I am off. I have
I'm-
hung up the Miss GK title, and I am fully mom.
Love it. I'm gonna
pretty
be
great.
just as pasty because I work inside.
Right.
And you're gonna be tan because you go outside during
I
the day.
go
I love it.
outside. Yeah, it's so great. Should we catch up?
We should. It's been a while.
Okay,
Let's do it.
so let me talk to you about my current obsession. Let's do
Yeah.
that. Besides being outside in the sun, I have been inside in the sun.
Explain.
We got our fish tank.
The big fish tank?
The big fish tank. It is 130 gallons in the real tank. But it also in the cabinet has another tank underneath that's the filter. And that's like another 30 gallons.
Okay, can you like explain this to me in terms of, let me be able
Yes.
to actually talk in terms of like a people. Like if
Yes.
I'm standing,
Yes,
if I'm
okay.
I'm short, so I don't know if I'm the best measure.
Okay. So when I say I've been inside in the sun, first off, it has 3 LED lights that mirror the sunlight.
Light. Oh my
Okay.
gosh.
So like throughout the day, the wavelength of the light changes.
Okay.
So mid-morning and late evening, it's like sunrise and sunset. And then in the middle of the day, it's bright white light. It kind of turns blue at a point. I mean, it's really,
Stop.
really cool.
That's so fancy. I love
But
it.
those lights are above my head.
Oh,
The tank
okay.
comes to about my chin.
Stop.
And then, I'm not even kidding you, it is like 5 feet wide.
Whoa.
It is a bathtub. It is a
Yeah.
bathtub. And then it's on a cabinet that is like countertop height.
Okay, so this is like,
Like you
This
go to the
is-
doctor's office, the fish tank is
Yeah.
smaller than this one.
oh my gosh.
It's nuts. It's huge.
So at its height, it's taller than you.
With the lights, yeah.
Oh my gosh. I need to see this thing.
You
It
do
sounds
need to come over.
Really
It's so
rad.
cool.
I'm so excited.
So I'm going to tell you all about it.
Okay.
So first off, the cabinet like is where all the equipment is, right? And that extra sump tank where the filter happens.
Yeah.
But what you see inside, there's sand and there's rocks, and it's a saltwater tank. So we have some crabs, we have some snails, we have 2 sea urchins. Their names are Roscoe and Janice. Janice wears a hat. This is like a real thing with sea urchins. I didn't know it, but I recently learned it. They love putting things on their heads.
But it's a circle. It's like a little
Yeah,
ball.
like the whole thing
So
is
what's
its
their
head.
head? Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay. Like for some people it's a nuisance because they'll like pick up different things in your tank and just put it on their head and then walk around.
My favorite thing.
Yeah, it's so great.
How can that ever be a nuisance? I don't
Right?
understand.
Please pick up whatever you
Right.
want. So people
Right.
have like 3D printed hats and like drop them in the tank so that the sea urchins will pick them up.
Yes.
Janice right now is wearing a bubble of algae just on her head, and she like walks around with this bubble.
As you do. Sure.
Yeah. We also have 2 starfish that Kit named Banana Head and Chocolate Face, which we changed to Chocolate Drop because He's 4, so he doesn't understand that chocolate face probably isn't the best name.
Starfish when it looks like a poop hole. Oh my gosh. Okay.
But the
All right.
starfish, they bury themselves in the sand and then they come up for a little bit and then they bury themselves again. We watched one do a backflip the other day because it got stuck. So cool.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it's really fun. And then we have a coral named Nick because it is orange and kind of squiggly and it reminds me of the old school Nickelodeon sign. But my favorite name, and again, a recurring theme on CK and GK is while we may be only about 2 months apart in birth, we are about 5 to 7 years apart in pop culture references. Okay? So we have a coral at the it's actually an anemone that looks like a coral at the very top of the tank. But when we first got the tank, she was at the very bottom and wasn't getting sunlight. So we had to move the rocks around and move her up to the front. We had to rescue her from the well. So I named her Baby Jessica.
I knew as soon as you said
From the well.
I heard the R and I was like, she's going to say rescue her from the well. Oh, stop it. You did not name her Baby Jessica.
I did.
Oh my gosh. This is so perfect. I love that so much. So like messed up and hilarious.
Yes.
And like banging on the mic. Oh goodness. Okay.
So for those of you who don't know, Baby Jessica fell down the well in 1987 and it was a national news phenomenon as they tried to rescue her. And she was in the well for like 14 hours or something ridiculous.
A huge deal.
Yeah.
It was a huge deal. They did a Will and Grace like spoof of it. Like where there was another kid who was it was played by the actor who was in American Pie, the main character of American Pie, the one who's famous for
Jason
the pie thing, Jason something.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Does that sound right, Jason?
It
something?
is.
Okay.
Whatever his someone
People
again,
are screaming
someone
right
is
now.
Screaming.
Like,
He was Baby Nicholas or something like that, and it was a funny thing. They did it on Will and Grace. I'll find it. I'll put the gif in the
I love it.
blog post for this
I
episode.
love it.
I need to see a picture of this. You need to take a picture, and we'll put it on the social.
Okay, yeah. Because we also have these really cool corals. I sent you a little video of those. They are green and they kind of wave in the water.
Oh yeah, those
and
were
it's like
cool.
watching grass. It's really great. But we have moved the couch from the living room into the reef room so that we can just sit on the couch and look at the tank.
I love it. This sounds really soothing, and I think I'm going to relocate my office to that room.
Yes.
So that I can just sit in there and be zen, because one of the things that I do when I'm working is I have a fish tank video.
Oh my gosh, I love it. That's great.
I did that when I was teaching, like, and the kids were testing.
Yes,
I would put a fish tank video on, and I do it when I'm working too. It's really helpful.
There you
I
go.
love it. That's great. Well,
Okay.
What else? Anything else?
Well, I told you that we moved the couch.
Right.
So we're actually in the midst of furniture shopping.
Because you need another one for the living.
So we're actually replacing the living room and then we're buying a new one for the reef room as well, because this couch is the one that Abigail spilled an entire milkshake into, and the dogs have torn up, and it was our COVID couch.
Oh, okay. I can see why you might.
Right? Like we worked and sat and lived on that couch. So even though it's only 5 years old, it has aged much more than 5 years.
I know. We have a couch like that too. It's time to replace it. It's gross. Yeah.
So we've bought a lot of furniture in the last few days, and I was going to get LASIK, but instead I got 2 couches.
There's always next year.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So mine, we've talked about this already. I'm still really obsessed with Scandival right now. If you're not a Vanderpump person, you just need to probably skip ahead like 30 seconds. But I cannot with this. I'm going to tell you this post that I saw the other day that explained this.
Okay.
In a way that people who are not Vanderpump people could make sense of. Okay?
Okay.
Here we go. Imagine this is the cast of Friends.
All right.
Yes,
all right.
I did not make this up. This is someone else's thing, and I'm going to put it up on the blog post for this episode.
I love it.
Imagine now that Chandler was sleeping with Rachel while he was married to Monica for 7 months.
Whoa.
And Joey knew about it for most of that time and never told Monica, but then acted like nothing was wrong to her face. That is what this situation is. It is nutso. Okay? Just completely bonkers crazy. Gosh. And that is why I am obsessed. And they've been doing the Vanderpump reunion, and they got right down to the nitty gritty, and it has been so good. And if you don't subscribe to Peacock and you are a Vanderpump watcher, you need to start subscribing because they have the unedited version.
Oh my goodness.
And they are milking it. Like, you can't fast forward through commercials or anything. They are milking those episodes, and they're so good. They're so good. And this is the other thing I'm obsessed with this when it comes to Scandival. The person who the Scandival is named after is Tom Sandoval.
Yes.
Fun fact, Tom Sandoval auditioned for The Hills.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah, it's hilarious. There's like a picture, or there's a whole video of like him sitting in a chair, like in his like beach outfit, and Lauren Elsie is like looking at him like, no. It's really funny. But he has been he's the Chandler in the situation, the dirty Chandler, which sounds like something inappropriate, but it's not. And he's been wearing white nail polish this entire season. I love white nail polish. I think it looks like, just especially for summer, I just think it looks really fun and cute. He's ruined it for so many people. Well, don't worry, because Nails Inc., the brand of nail polish, created a white nail polish that is literally called, the shade is literally called For Everyone But Tom Sandoval. It is so good.
Do you already own it?
No, I do gels most of the time, and this is just a regular nail polish. However, if it comes out in a gel, then I will. But you know what? Either way, the fact that this is here, this tells me that I can reclaim it. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to reclaim my white nail polish because I love it. It's so fun and cute. And I'm annoyed that this guy's been wearing it all. There's even a scene in one of the episodes of Vanderpump this season where he's like holding his hands up in front of his face. And he's like, I had to go get my nails done. But he was blowing off his best friend for a business meeting. So like they're supposed to be opening this restaurant. And he's just like, oh, I wasn't going to show up with busted nails. It's like, put your white fingernails down. You don't get to have them. And so, yeah, I'm going to reclaim the white nail polish. But also these two memes are so funny. They totally encapsulate all the things anyone who's obsessed with Scandival is into right now. And I will put them on the blog post for this episode because it's great.
That is amazing.
Hilarious.
Let us transition to the gem of the week. As if For Everyone Except Tom Sandoval is not a gem itself.
It is. It's such a good one.
Okay.
Ugh. Okay.
So, Abigail, who is 11, was talking to my husband about how a friend taught her a dance that goes with a specific song.
Okay.
And he looked at her and said, wow, you're just really growing up. You know, like that's a true middle school thing, to learn a dance that goes with a song. And then he followed it up with, if I see you practicing that dance at the grocery store with no music, I swear I'll disown you.
He needs to show her that Instagram account called Influencers in the Wild, because it is hilarious. And I'm just picturing her showing up like as a kid practicing in front of the macaroni and cheese.
Right. He was like, you cannot do that. And even Abby was like, oh no, that's weird. That's weird.
Yeah, it
like,
is weird.
No, you cannot fake practice those dances. I see it all the time. It's weird.
Oh man. Do you remember being like 14 and pretending to dance to like Bye 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 or whatever? And and now, and everyone, we all looked clearly 13 or 14 years old, right. And now all these girls just look so much older. I don't want to see her doing that. She's not allowed. You can just ban her from all the cute you're growing up TikTok dances. No thanks.
There was a guy in my high school band who knew all the moves to all those boy button dances.
Mm-hmm.
And, I went to a really big high school. So the band had like 350 people in it. So we had like our own socials, right?
Yeah.
Like there was no reason for us to, I went to the prom. Like don't get me wrong, but like there was no reason for us to go to all the school dances when we could just do the band dance and there's like already almost 400 people there.
And it was all your friends.
And it was all our friends.
You don't have to intermingle with people that you don't want to. Right.
Right. And every time we had a social, Joseph would get up and do one of these dances. It was insane. It was insane.
So my mouth just dropped because we had one of those guys too, and his name was Joey.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah. Whoa, that's so weird. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Well, his name still is Joey. He's still, he knows all. Okay, so mine's a little dorkier, but it's precious. Okay, so my child is, I don't know what it is about like right before their birthday where they all of a sudden seem like they are their age.
Right.
You know, like you don't really feel your age until
it becomes
a thing, right? And you're like, or it's like, okay, so I'm this old, but I finally feel the age that I just turned last year. So what, you know what I mean? It's weird. Anyway, he's turning 7. He finally seems like he's turning 7, which is really cute. And he's starting to make word jokes, like puns.
Oh, nice.
So the other day, he's eating some scrambled eggs and he finishes them up and he looks at me and he goes, well, that was unexpected. And and like gives me a little like side eye winky face. It was so cute and so funny. And I just was like, what did you just say? And he was like, you heard me. Like didn't want to repeat it, but he knew it was really funny. And it's just like it's a cute age, but it made me laugh because it's like, wait, who
did
is
it
this person?
Crack you up?
It cracked me up. Oh, hell. Yeah, just super cute.
Okay, so back to the thing about age.
Okay.
Feeling your age.
Yeah.
Okay. I went to the optometrist this week, which was, what brought up the possibility of
You
LASIK.
need readers.
I do need readers. I do. So I almost texted you because I was dying in the optometrist's office. I was like, no, I'm going to tell her face to face. So yeah. And this is the same optometrist I've been going to since like 2006. It is the only doctor I have had a very long relationship with. Right.
Yeah.
And I said, yeah, remember about 10 years ago, I told you that I'm having problems with my night vision. And your response was, yeah, welcome to your 30s. I cannot turn back. No, he was like, I can't turn back the clock. Like, yeah,
right.
that's just.
Thank you.
He says to me, are you having trouble with your eyes? And I said, yeah, I'm taking my glasses off to read. And recently, even worse than that, I'm taking them off to have a conversation across the table. Like I can't even focus on someone's face in like the mid-range. And he looks at my chart and then he looks at me. He says, you're 39? I said, yeah. He says, yeah, you need bifocals. We'll get you some readers.
Oh, no. Oh, my gosh. Oh, my goodness. Y'all, welcome to your late 30s.
Yeah, I am dying. It's so funny. I was like, cool. This couldn't have waited like 6 months before I turned 40. And he's like, nah, man, just happens.
Right. Oh,
but he didn't even ask me any questions. He just heard what I said and said, oh, let me look at your age real fast.
He didn't even like put a piece of paper in front of you and tell you like to try and read it. He just
No. He didn't even like suggest, oh, well, let me try some tests. He just looks at the paper and he goes, oh, you're just old. We're going to get you some bifocals.
Ew. Thank you for that, sir.
So funny. And he was like, well, we can also correct it with LASIK. You can get one eye close and one eye far. Your eyes will adjust. He said, I've had it. I did it 10 years ago or whatever. And he's like, it's totally fine. And you just have one eye that's better for reading and one eye that's better for distance vision.
I'm totally picturing you with like an eye patch. Like, I know that's not how it works, but like, this is
you, like,
your
slide it over for me reading.
Right, exactly.
Can you imagine I'm teaching and I'm like reading something up close and then I want to look at the class and I have to slide my eye patch over?
But think like, first of all, this is amazing for 2 reasons, right? One,
who has the answer? Let me see who's raising their hand. Oh, Tommy,
Talk
go
like
ahead.
A pirate day. Yeah, Talk Like a Pirate Day will be so perfect for you because you already participate wholeheartedly. And 2, think about the faces of those 7th graders when they look at you and they're just like, did she just
move her eye patch?
Did she just move her eye? Like, they're going to be so freaked out because when you have it, most people when they're wearing an eye patch, one, they're not pirates, and two, they're doing it because there's something going on with that eye. So if you just like flip it over from side to side, but you do it subtly so they don't notice, and they'll be like, wait, I thought it was on the other, like, what is she doing?
Is it Men in Tights where the guy's mole keeps moving around on his face?
So gross.
Yeah.
They'll just be like, wait, what? And somebody will see you do it. Right. Somebody will see you do it and they'll be like,
oh, don't worry. This is my reading eye. It's fine.
This is my whiteboard eye. This is my reading eye. Don't worry. It's fine.
Yeah. So.
Well, looks like he expected that he would have to tell you that someday soon. That's such a bad joke. We're going to come back after this break.
Or was it a bad yoke?
Oh my God.
All right, guys. I don't want to mix things up and cause too much of a scramble, but we're going to come back in.
Hey-o! Time for the bad jokes. No, I'm here for it. I'm liking it.
I mean, I got more than a dozen of them. So,
these are grade A for sure.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Nice. Okay. So, like I said at the beginning, I am imagining this turning into a series. So, hopefully it does. If not, it's just like any other ADHD project I had where I started and didn't finish.
Yes. Love it.
We cleaned out the garage. Mm-hmm. And I came up with 5 guidelines that I think can help with any big project.
Ooh.
And I'm going to talk about those 5 guidelines and then how they applied to cleaning out the garage.
I love it.
Okay. So let me tell you this first. We have been in our house for 5 years.
Okay.
And our garage was so full of things that it was hard to park a bike in it.
So are you telling me that there's 5 years worth of stuff in this garage and you've never used it in that whole time you've lived in this house?
The only time it's ever been cleaned out was when we had a roommate move her entire 1-bedroom apartment into our garage.
Oh, that's right. But so then, even then you guys didn't get to park in it.
No. And then when she moved out of the apartment, we then moved a bunch of stuff into the garage.
Right.
And it's just been piling up and so much junk. Now, the impetus for this was the tank, because you have to do a 10% water change every week, which for us is 15 gallons ish. And you have to make salt water.
Oh.
So we need to be able to get to the water filter in our garage to have fresh filtered water to make the salt water for the water change.
I see.
Okay. So that's why we needed to clean out the garage. Besides, of course, also we had a 2-car garage worth of trash. Okay. So the first thing for me in doing a big project is defining the parameters. I'm going to quote Brene Brown and say, clear is kind. Okay. Unmet expectations are the worst, right? It's like the cancer of a relationship is unmet expectations.
Very true.
So I wanted to be really ruthless in this. I wanted to throw away as much stuff as we could and really, really purge.
Oh.
There were boxes in the garage that had never been opened since we moved in.
We have that too.
And I was very concerned that the other party in my marriage was not going to be as ruthless as I wanted him to be.
Understood.
So days beforehand, I told him that and said, I am concerned that you're not going to throw away enough stuff. I am worried that you're going to want to keep things that I don't think we need to keep.
Okay.
I didn't tell him what I thought he should throw away. I just came to him and said, this is what I'm concerned about. If nothing else, prove me wrong.
We all know the way to really get engaged is to turn it into a competition.
Right.
It's the only way to really keep anyone's attention.
Hey, I quit soda 10 years ago on a dare.
Yeah.
John said to me, you drink so much Diet Coke, I know you couldn't quit. And I was like, yes, I can. I pour the rest of it down the drain. And I haven't touched the stuff in 10 years.
Good for you.
I want to show him that I can do it. All right. So the next thing is I need to build in some accountability, right? Like I'm doing something at work. There's a deadline. Someone else is expecting me to turn something in. In fact, when, our school does these really great narratives where we write all about the student and we showcase their work, and it was assigned at the beginning of spring break, but it was not due until May 1st. So when did I do it?
April 30th.
April 30th, of course, right.
Like any good ADHDer.
Yes.
You thrive on a deadline and
yes.
you knocked out a ton of them all at once. Yeah.
So I built in some accountability. I scheduled and prepaid for a roll-off dumpster to be delivered to our driveway.
Ooh, that's smart.
I knew the dumpster was coming. I had to do this project. I'm not going to spend the money to have the dumpster come if I'm not going to do it. So I had some accountability. Now, on the same thing, I also activated deadline mode. Mm-hmm. So I've got the accountability of the dumpster is coming. You have to do this project. But the dumpster is here for 14 days.
Right. You don't have
So I don't want to wait until day 13 to do it.
Right.
So in order to activate deadline mode, we picked the day before John left for a business trip to do the garage.
Yeah.
We have to do it today. I'm leaving tomorrow. We have to do it today. I'm leaving tomorrow. Mm-hmm. So that was really, really great.
Yeah.
I also have linked an article about this, and I'm sure you know about it, but we employed body doubling. And this is a fairly new term, and it's connected to this ADHD revolution that the internet is going through. It's the idea of bringing someone along with you on a task that you don't want to do.
Yes.
And either that person is doing the task with you and making it social and it's fun and you guys are doing it together, or the person is just in the room being with you while you do it.
This is something that our friend and friend of the show, Ariella, and if you haven't gone and check out her blog post that she's written for us, please do so, has talked about a lot. She has a person in her community that she will like go be their person. So she just sits there while they clean out a drawer or whatever it is, or do laundry. And then the same person will do that for her, where it's just a person who's having a conversation with her. Their job is just to sit there and one, help her be accountable, but two, like kind of pass the time while you do some mindless task that you don't want to be doing.
Right.
Yeah, but you know that that's what they're there for. I love that idea.
Yeah. So this was the task of the day. John, Kit, and I were all out there until the task was done.
Oh.
And
Kit too is impressive.
Yes, Kit too. He liked the dumpster.
Well, yeah.
Right? And it's so, yeah. And you got to climb inside it. And I mean, it's so cool. Hey, if John can put my daughter in the sewer. Yeah.
The other one in a dumpster.
We're real classy here in Cedar Park. I don't know how you guys do it in Austin, but the first one was defining the parameters. The second one is building some accountability. The third one for me is activating deadline mode. I body doubled. And then the fifth idea I have around doing a big project is our family rule, which, you know, our number one family rule is don't waste meat.
Right.
Our number two family rule is we finish what we start.
Do you have something in there about like, if it hurts, don't do it?
No, that's a good rule though.
Yeah. Okay. Just throwing that out there for other families who need another rule. Yeah. Okay. So finish what you start.
So we finish what we start. We ended the day by packing up donations in the car so that it wasn't like, oh, one day we'll donate this. Like, no, it's in the car. It's ready to go. We don't have to take it today, but the next time we go out, we're going to want to take it because there's no room in the car for anything else.
Well, and you didn't put it back in the garage, which defeats the whole purpose of what you're doing.
Right.
You could have, if you had just put it down on the floor of the garage and been like, okay, those are here, they're ready for me. You could have still just walked right past them and gone to the car.
Exactly. We stacked all the stuff that needed to go up in the attic.
Okay.
And we brainstormed ideas for storage. So sometimes finishing is just like accepting a lack of closure and creating a game plan to continue, but actually setting yourself up to continue.
Yeah. That's
so true. For us, the task was filling the dumpster and throwing away everything that we could. But the overall goal is to have a clean garage. So like you said, we can't leave the donations in the garage. We can't leave the stuff for the attic in the garage. It's got to go next to the attic stairs. It doesn't have to go in the attic right now, but it does need to go up there. And the donations need to go. Okay, so what did we keep? What did we not? We threw away anything that was damaged or unused since we moved in 5 years ago. Anything that was incomplete. Board games, craft kits, you name it. If it didn't have all the pieces, it's gone. Baby clothes that were stained.
Yeah.
I saved a lot of clothes.
Yeah. Me too.
But as you go through and you see over the years, spit up stains yellow on clothing.
Yeah, it's gross.
Yeah, and you don't see them when you put it away, right? I would not have saved something that was gross and nasty, but when I pulled it out of the boxes, over the years, these clothes have kind of deteriorated. So we threw all of those things away. Also, in the realm of baby, we threw away any outdated baby items.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I hated to throw away a whole crib, but it
But
was
you
11
only
years old.
and you only get like, I think it's 5 years is for a car seat, right? So you don't get a lot of time. Like, we saved all of Sam's stuff, but he's almost 7, so it doesn't. I gotta take it to a trade-in someday,
Right?
Where they recycle them. Yeah.
Because I'm teaching at a new school and I've kind of gone through all my materials. I had a ton of old teaching stuff to get rid of.
Oh.
And I had a lot of old cleaning and yard items, like nasty old mop.
Yeah, no, get rid of that.
A broken rake. Like, why am I keeping these things?
Yeah, that
so
kind of
stuff. So
we
we threw all that kind of stuff away.
Yeah.
As far as donating, only clean and undamaged clothing and toys.
That's the right call.
We had a couple of working small appliances that we donated, and then a bunch of books, of course. And then things that we did keep were all of these memory items, right? Like old yearbooks, a scrap of paper from this, like pictures, blah, blah. But we took all of those items out of cardboard boxes and put them into bins. So a la Marie Kondo, we held every single item, decided, does this bring me joy? If it does, I'll put it in the bin. Otherwise, it stays in the cardboard box. It's getting thrown away. But the other thing that we kept that most people would not is about 150 VHS or DVDs.
Okay, so you know that I did this one summer, right? Like my summer project was that I went through all of our DVDs. I went through and I bought those giant like CD binders that you had when you were 16.
Right. Yeah.
The huge ones. And I put all of our DVDs in those and I donated all the cases because you can take the cases and either recycle them or give them to the library and the library will take them. Yeah, you can just call a library and ask them if they need them. And and then I recycled the rest because you can do that. But that really helped. It saved a lot of space. But the VHS tapes is a different thing.
I don't even know if they're going to play after being in the garage as long as they have.
Are like the old, like the Disney cases that were plastic.
Those are the ones we kept.
Yeah, and they're all cracked and stuff because the plastic gets all hard. Yeah, I totally know what you're talking about.
So we already shouted out Ariella. How about another guest that we've had, Jennifer, my friend who puts a fun in funeral. She gave me a box many, many years ago of all of her old Disney movies from when she was a kid. Yeah. And she was like, here, Abby might like these. So for like a decade, I've had these VHS tapes. I was like, I can't throw them away. I'm keeping them.
I know. So, and if you have Disney Plus, you don't need them.
No, we have Disney Plus. We don't need the cases.
Need them. Yeah.
No, but I couldn't part with them. And the reason I bring that up and kind of close with it is I am not here to say I did a great job cleaning out my garage. I was perfect and I purged everything I wanted to.
Okay.
I am here to tell you that I gave myself grace. And even though I started with, I want to be ruthless and I need John to throw away more stuff, turns out he did really, really great. He threw away all kinds of stuff. But I was not ready to throw away some things myself. So, here we go.
All things considered, I'm pretty impressed that you actually tackled this. I mean, and again, you also had accountability because you really wanted the fish tank. So there's a lot of pieces in this that are moving parts that you synced up really well. I think keeping one or two weird things or one or two boxes of weird things is totally fine because at some point you'll decide that you are ready, right? And that's an okay thing too.
Or I'll have grandchildren and pass them on to them.
Right.
Like, what is this?
So the other thing I want to point out with this that you did is you talked about your continuation game plan, which I'm assuming has organization as part of it.
Right.
Yes. This was just purging.
Exactly.
This was not organizing. And there's a really great ADHD person. Her name's Casey Davis. She has a podcast. It's really good. But the one episode that really hit me was she talked about how cleaning, tidying, and organizing are not the same thing. And I think I've brought this up on the show before.
Right. I was going to say, I've heard this.
Super helpful to remember that, like, these are not, you don't have to do them all at once. And where a lot of people, especially myself, get overwhelmed and frustrated is that they think that they have to do them all at once. But cleaning is not. Separate them out and make them small projects so that you don't get overwhelmed. Because I love that you handled this. And also I'm impressed that you had a non-closure. Like, accepting non-closure, accepting non-completion is like a really hard thing for me, where I'm like, oh, I need to go back to the container store and buy more stuff right now. And it's not, you just have to let it go and know that that's part of your plan moving forward. So I love that.
It's hard to say, okay, I'm finished because I'm not finished.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I'm at a place right now where I can stop.
Yes, I'm at a stopping point.
And I have thrown away all the trash. There's still work to be done, but right now there's nothing to be thrown out.
Yeah, that's awesome. You
until next week when it fills up again.
Put the car in there. If you put the car in, then there's no space. Yeah. Just put the car in the garage, at least one of them, and park it weird so that so that no other stuff fits.
We did put it in the day that we cleaned it. We did put the car in, like, look, we can fit a car.
Yay!
But trying to back it out around the dumpster was so hard.
Whoops. Well, I'm impressed. Good job. I love it. You said define the parameters, build in accountability, activate deadline mode, get a body double, and finish what you start. I love it. Great framework. We're going to use it again for sure.
Yeah, I think so.
All right.
Well, when you are deciding if it should be tossed, kept, or donated, make good choices.
Ooh, that was good. And keep the VHS tapes, like the Beanie Babies or whatever. Keep them. They might be worth something.
These are Beanie Babies. That's exactly what these are.
Yep. I still have mine, and I'm keeping them, and I'm going to sell them at some point.
That's exactly
okay. Bye.
Bye.
Hey friends, thanks for listening to the CK and GK podcast. Find us at CK and GK podcast on Instagram and Twitter, and rate, review, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Good Pods, or anywhere else that you pod. See you next time.